commandments. And it's the practice of ma'at. Ma'at used to be what people guided their lives, and there's several different commandments, I guess you would say, that have to do with virtue. That's what I'm going to focus on today, is the virtues, 3 of the virtues of Ma'at. Yes, ma'am.
So can you spell Ma'at?
M-A-T, M-A-A-T,
Okay.
M-A-A-T.
Thank you.
Yeah, please look it up. Oh yeah, you can use your, whoever was using pencil and paper, you can do that now, because I'm not going to necessarily be having you go through a lot of exercises now. Any questions so far?
Can I grab a pencil before this?
Sure.
Thank you very much.
Control, the 3 principles, the virtues rather, that I'm going to go over are control of thought, control of action, and steadfastness of purpose. Twice. Okay. Uh-oh. Oh no. You know what? I don't know if this is gonna act right for me, so I'm gonna use the old-fashioned way.
There we go.
Okay. Now, how are we in control of our minds? From the exercise that you did, would you say?
If we train it.
Say that again.
If we train it.
Who
All
said that?
except for 4 different occasions, at least.
Who said if we train it?
Me.
Okay, thank you, thank you. Like I said, my sight in my right eye isn't really so it's, you gotta kind of weigh me down.
Okay.
Okay, what does it mean to have control of mind was my question, right? And you said,
If we control it, you said
okay,
we have.
what does it mean? I'm so sorry. What does it mean to control your mind?
Wow. To have a certain demand over what you think. Become aware of your thinking.
For me, controlling my mind means being able to do what I set out to do instead of what randomly happening, and to be able to direct my action towards a specific goal. Have such discipline over it that I can excel.
Okay, I didn't hear those last few words.
Have such discipline and training my mind to be able to excel at doing all that.
Okay.
For me, it's being aware and then knowing that I can choose what I decide to focus my attention on.
After doing that exercise, do you see where possibly you could be in more control of your mind? Anyone? Anyone feel that way?
Yeah.
And how do you think you can accomplish that?
Focus.
Practice.
Absolutely.
Training.
Absolutely. Who said that training? Okay.
I personally wasn't trying to control it so much. I was just focusing on what it felt like. So just tried to fill my experience with what it was I was trying to focus on. So the experience was supposed to be breath over my nose, so I experienced different ways of doing that. Breathing it slowly to see what that felt like, breathing it out slowly. You know, I don't really feel like I need to control my mind. My mind is like a dolphin. It likes to do a lot of things and play, but at the same time right now we're just focusing.
Yeah, but the control came with where you directed your attention to be.
Right.
You know
But I
what I'm
guess it
saying?
was just different. It wasn't like, you're going to do what I say. It was more like, this is really fun if I fully engage myself in it. And then I can move other things.
Okay, I'm going to get to someone else. I'll come back to you, okay? Yes.
I would say peace of mind, relaxation, understanding that
at that moment you're in control, but just like your mind comes at peace because it's not so many factors going into play, like what you're trying to think about. You're at peace, you're grounded, you're rooted on one moment, at one time.
You know, you can feel free, if it's all right with everyone, to film people's statements. No, yes, is that all right?
Yeah.
Okay, rather than just focusing on me, looking at them as a
yeah,
question.
yeah.
Feel free to, zoom in on them.
Good angles though.
I didn't cut you off, did I? Keep going if you have.
I was my thought, just peace of mind, just saying, really, just understanding that, yeah, I love, you're good.
Yeah, I'm so sorry. Yes, sir.
Making intentions and coming back to them seems to be like the same thing that you're practicing when you're practicing meditating. And also say changing your relationship with your thoughts, how you kind of react to them. That's also maybe what it feels like you're practicing is just like how you react to that emotional experience of thoughts coming up.
What did it feel like? And I'll get to keep that in mind too. What did it feel like physically? What did it feel like to you as you were doing those exercises? Anyone? What did it feel like?
It felt relaxing. But I also had a sense of not frustration, but a slight off of my relaxation when I knew I had to put my finger up. Because I kind of just wanted some other way to tell him, because I knew that would, for a second, there was no controlling that my mind would be thinking about this physical action.
But the only reason you raised your finger was because you had already done that.
Yeah, but then I got distracted again from the finger.
Yeah. I agree.
Because I was thinking about the finger for a second, or was I thinking about both?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, if the disruption happened, then adding another, thing on there was because you have to go back. And that's what I was saying to you. You have to really, when you are distracted, like you're saying, you have to prepare yourself to go back into that state of control. Of control. You, to me, coined it perfectly. And that it's really being conscious of, I want to be in control of what is happening. Now, when you go to, like I was talking about the Vipassana, it's not just so you're in control of your mind so much. It's not so much for control, even though it does build that. But for me, it was more of being in tune with what's going on in my body and mind. What's the sensation? That was when I was asking, what did it feel like? What was the sensation that having to control your mind, having to concentrate on self, being disciplined? What sensation did it create? And you again.
Relax, yeah.
But then, like you said, then it was disrupted and disturbed when I thought about the dishes or whatever the mind decided to go off on. And there was a couple of people over here. Yes, ma'am.
I think also it's creating a separation between you and what you're thinking, and that was kind of a little bit evident in the exercise where you realize that it was just a thought and that wasn't really you, as opposed to being because if you're gonna say don't think, all of a sudden your mind is just so I think just being aware of the difference between just the random junk in your head and your awareness.
Yes,
I
ma'am.
was just going to say, go ahead.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I've got to get back to her because if you still had something to say, do you still?
Yeah.
Okay. And then I'll do you, and then someone over here I just think I saw. Okay, I'll come back. Okay, go.
I have a personal practice of stuff. So, I agree with what all the comments that have been going around. I don't think it's about tight control because that makes you more rigid. And so I think that tuning in part is the key. Another element, I would say, two elements, feeling into the what's going on,
and then self-expression. So putting all these pieces together all at once into a total package, I think that would be okay.
I was just gonna say that when you were saying like don't think and whatnot, like the very thought, don't think is a thought, and the brain wants to be relevant, or the mind wants to be relevant in its talking, and I think like that's part of what I think for me it was nice to focus on the breath, because it wasn't that I'm saying that the brain or the mind isn't relevant, it's just that it's not the time.
So
to
that
focus
was
on. It's not that it's not relevant, it's just not the time to be using it. Like, even the thought don't think is using it.
Exactly.
So
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
like,
that's
just
true.
don't, it's just not time right now.
Yes.
I'm feeling that the current control, disagreeing with your comments. Thank you. Because I found that embracing the mind and feeling compassion for the mind allows the mind to relax. And then to just sink and drop into a void. Just totally without thought, without. Meditation will take you there. Because, I mean, it really does. It will take you to, it's another, almost feels like dimension. Because you're there, but you're more observing to me. I'm observing when I'm in that state of meditation. I'm more one with it all, with the universe, even, you know what I'm saying? You go into another state of being. You have something to say?
We're talking about the control of the mind, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I find that it really takes some deliberate. You have to be deliberate in your thought, whatever it is that you're trying to. I heard someone use the word focus, but even in doing that, there's a lot of things you have to kick out of your mind as well, that you have to block from entering your mind. But when it comes to control, I think has a lot to do with just being deliberate in your thought, concentration. Is a word that I'm using that as well. But I don't know if you can control your mind, and definitely can control your actions.
That's what's next. Excellent segue. Excellent segue into controlling your actions, because when you don't control your actions, you make mistakes, possible mistakes. The reason I put this up here was because this was written, if you can see, October 1997 or whatever that is. My vision is really messed up. Can anybody tell me what that says? Right there in this corner. October. October what? Okay, I'll be close.
Yeah, it looks like 60.
October 1997. That was when this article was in this magazine, Crime Pays. And it does. I mean, it's not paying the prisoners. It's the new, in my opinion, this is all me. You don't have to agree with it, or you can agree with it. Doesn't make me that much difference. But it's the modern day prison. Then the modern day prison is slavery. It is slavery, and a lot of black and brown, Native American, and other supposedly minorities are being used as slaves in prison. What you're seeing, if you are seeing it, and if you're not, I'm hoping that you'll, turn an eye towards what the history of the United States is, and that's of enslaving. Even the middle class are enslaved, and they don't have to be quote unquote minority. You're enslaved too. Because if you aren't, you're the ones, middle class, whomever you are, if there are any middle class people here, you're the ones that are supporting the country. The poor and the rich, we don't have to worry about anything. Really. Thanks to you. Thanks to you going to work every day and buying cars and houses and, you know. So we're all enslaved on this planet. It's a shame because I don't think that's what we were put here for. I think we were put here to be helpmates to one another. But others have taken control that don't have that same game plan, and people are going into the prison system because they have bad attention. I'm talking about little children now in preschool are being labeled as Ambers.
Yes.
Did somebody say yes?
Yes.
Who said that?
I did.
Ambers. I mean, you know where they say, oh yeah, you're here, you're right, we got you. You were going, we got you. And they will make sure that they do have that particular individual, because they won't give them an out of the situations that are causing them to be disruptive or be, I mean, when a before kindergartner says to you, FUB, and you put them out of the room, or their mother comes and said, and so, then that means that we societally are not doing what we're supposed to be doing, and that's being, in my opinion, helpmates to one another. Because kids that have I'll get to the second, but you might have to remind me, that have behavioral problems, there's a reason. Environment, not getting, like I said, not getting the same breaks as others are getting.
Just a clarification, I don't know what FUB, sorry. Sorry, Puppy Bitch? Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, I didn't want to have to say it. Yeah, but they are little kids, but that's what they're hearing at home. They don't know that, you know, but and it used to be back in the day, if there was someone that had a behavioral problem in our community, we knew how to deal with that. We didn't send them up, come over here. Now, why did you say that? Well, what does that mean to you? How do you spell it? I mean, we would really make them analyze what they were saying, why they were saying it, and then they would have some more understanding of, oh, that's not just a slang, or that's not just because I'm mad, I'm going to just throw these words at you. At least it gives them some kind of consciousness of what is acceptable, I guess. You know, what's going to propel them forward or hold them back. You have something to say?
I was going to say that attitude is still given to mostly white children, though, when they have, or labeled with autism or any other special learning disability. And I'm not saying that they're not institutionalized in their own way, like you did so eloquently point out, but there is a difference in the attitude. They're special, they're gifted, they need specific help. What's happening? Why is it that they're autistic? All of these things focused on them. Mm-hmm. But we're instantly already considered a problem. We have to prove ourselves out of it. So there is a difference in the way that the children with behavioral issues are being treated, dependent on race. And I'm saying that the focus, the issues are there for both white and black, but there is a different attitude in how they're being treated.
Who said what?
No, I'm just saying, you know, because it seems like, I mean, the thought that came to me when you said that is that it maybe started at a younger age where the difference in how the behavior issues were remedied, right, or how the approach for the remedy was different, but it seems like that may have cultivated through that's a society type of issue, all the way up into maybe the adult stages of men, women, different races, where the behavior issues are approached differently or remedied differently or looked at differently as well. So it may not just be a childhood issue coming up through.
Well, I see it.
But all the, it's a society
it's a cultural
thing.
thing, actually. It's a cultural thing. And until we, in my opinion, again, I say in my opinion, y'all, because I don't, what I say may not be a traditional thought, so that's why I want to clarify that this is my opinion of it. I gotta get on, because if I keep on, African Americans, as you can see, and you don't need me to read it, well, I will, but, and that was when? That was 1997. It's 89,000 now. Billion, excuse me. It's 89 billion now. And we can stop this. We can control this. I mean, really, you guys, the Latino community and the African American community and the Native American community are being put in prisons at a much higher rate than anybody else, and that's because it controls this industry. They are planting drugs on you. You see it. I hope you're seeing it. I hope you're seeing it, because you can say all day, well, it ain't me. You can say all day, well, they came after the gays, but I ain't gay, so I didn't say anything. They came after the children, but I wasn't a child, so I didn't say anything. And then pretty soon, there was no one to say anything. And you're next. You're next. So to turn a blind eye to what's happening to your sisters and brothers, period, you're next. Because it's being controlled by people, as I said in that poem, who do not know or love our sons, daughters. You know what I'm saying? I hope I'm really opening eyes here to what's going on around us. Because just like the Holocaust, I can talk about my Holocaust, which is the Ma'afa, but instead of talking about that, which was before the Jewish Holocaust, people weren't listening. When the whole community would be herded off, they would say, oh, well, they're just going over to blah, blah, blah. They decided that. And nobody heard about it for a long time before it was like, well, something's going on. Well, there's something going on in these prisons and these institutions that are being put up. There's something going on. There's something going on when you can just pull a gun on a child and kill them. Period. Come on, you guys. What happened to rubber bullets? You just gotta do it like that. Okay, taser don't work. Okay, come on. We gotta think of a better way. It's got to be a better way to do it than to just keep taking lives like that. I believe, my fervent belief is that it's more like a Gestapo state of mind that is, they don't really care. Yeah, they're killing blacks. That's as hard as it gets. Latino killing us quick, killing us, just killing people, period, that don't fit into the mold that they want people to fit in. And they're also doing it to the Caucasian people that don't fit in the mold that they want them to fit in. You're next. It's happening everywhere. We've got to get control of the brutality of the domestic violence, the domestic terrorism that is being leashed on us. Yes, ma'am.
So many thoughts. In terms of in my opinion, what I'm realizing is how we participate, each of us individually, in terms of beating ourselves up, I don't even know how to articulate this, but what has come to me is the system that we're living in is not working for anybody.
Right.
There are, worse, there are people in worse categories, but if you look at all of us, we're
Absolutely.
not. And to me, what's come as a huge, it's a system of, it's patriarchy. It's how that system is set up, and some of the tenets of it is what the cause of all of this is to me. It is not our different race. It's really a system thing that doesn't work. It's not balanced. Not that the masculine has a strength of its own, and it's just unbalanced. And that foundation imbalance is what causes all of this other stuff that's happening to all of us. That's just, and how we, in our own minds, I beat myself up as a woman. I apologize for being emotional. I apologize for not being able to do everything. I beat other women up. I just see it in my own little world. So I don't know if I'm making any sense, but somehow it
Very well
connects
put.
to me.
Very well put.
So, I'll get to the next virtue, because we've gone through two now. If I didn't make that clear. Okay, everybody know we've gone through two. Come on, baby love. Virtue number 3. Steadfastness. That's virtue number 3. Steadfastness. So, we've got to be steadfast in the purpose in changing our system. That's not going to take, it's not going to happen in a couple of days, a couple of months. That's going to, the way it's so rooted into our system, not to consider people and their lives. Like I said, the middle class, boy, on the real side, they got beat up bad. Lost all their homes, lost everything that they thought was the American dream and to strive for. And when those that felt like, well, we're going to change it up because greed or whatever it is that is happening here, power or whatever's going on, they said, oh, well, you're expendable. We've already known